Transmite en una frecuencia asignada de 82 a 88 MHz, transmitiendo con una potencia de 100.000 watts de video y 20.000 watts de audio, tal y como fue autorizada por la Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes de México.
San Diego 6 News in the morning. Your station for balanced news.
Good morning, I'm Sharon Chen in for Linda Martin.
And I'm Mark Bailey. Here are some of the stories we're following for you today. A man leads police on a chase across the county overnight, at one point driving backwards on the freeway.
And this morning, a fugitive inmate is back behind bars after being on the run for almost 2 weeks, where authorities finally caught up with him and the pair that are still on the run.
And get ready for a showdown in San Diego today, why controversial Sheriff Joe Arpaio will be in town. But first, let's get over to Brooke and get a check on the forecast.
And good morning to you. We still have those cooler temperatures outside. That's going to continue for another day or so before we start to see those temperatures start to creep up. Morning clouds, that's the name of the game as well, still for the coastal areas especially, and even into parts of the inland valleys. But we'll have mostly sunny skies, inland valleys, and even at the beaches, more sunshine just like the last 2 days. How long will that last? I'll have those details for you coming up. Sharon?
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. Well, new this morning, a man leads officers on a high-speed chase on several freeways throughout the county. It started around 10:30 last night, and the 15 heading south. Officers tried to pull over the man for failing to yield. Instead of pulling over, he took off, jumping on the 805 North. Then he headed back to the 15 and eventually got onto the 5 and drove backwards the wrong way down the freeway. For the public safety, officers eventually stopped the pursuit around 11:15. As a result, the CHP officer got in a crash on the 15, but nobody was injured.
A police chase on the Silver Strand ends when 3 robbery suspects slam into 2 other vehicles. Officers were chasing the suspects out of Imperial Beach and were just south of the Hotel del Coronado near the Naval Amphibious Base when the collision occurred. The officers say they arrived to find 3 men leaving a home with stolen property. Emergency crews tended to 2 of the injured suspects and the driver of a pickup truck they ran into. The chase began about noon in Imperial Beach when San Diego police were called to a burglary on 7th Avenue.
A pursuit ensued, and ultimately the suspects crashed into 2 vehicles. At that point, 2 of the suspects fled from the vehicle.
Upon arrival, we found multiple patients. A number of those patients were deemed to be major traumas and were transported to UCSD.
2 of the suspects suffered major trauma, while a third, who was not injured, managed to get onto the amphibious base and reportedly stripped down to his underwear. A canine unit tracked him down and found his shorts and wallet nearby. The stolen property was also recovered.
And Oceanside police have arrested a 64-year-old woman accused of trying to kill her husband. It happened Sunday afternoon in an apartment on the 400 block of Canyon Drive. Police say Carmen Torres attacked her husband, sending him to the hospital with multiple stab wounds following an argument. The victim went to sleep and awoke to his wife stabbing him. The 56-year-old man was able to stop the attack and run to neighbors for help. Torres was arrested on scene.
A civilian employee at Camp Pendleton has pleaded not guilty to charges of trying to kidnap an Oceanside student who was on her way home from school. 53-year-old George McKeeson was on probation for a drug conviction when he was arrested last week. He's accused of driving up alongside the 14-year-old victim on Oceanside Boulevard and ordering her to get in his car. She managed to get away and then helped police make an arrest.
The victim in the case gave a very detailed description of the appearance of the suspect as well as a partial license plate number. She was able to recall most of the digits in the license plate.
Authorities drew up a sketch based on her description, and then the victim picked McKesson out of a lineup. He's due back in court next week and could face 9 years in prison if convicted.
Well, the county is getting ready to perform same-sex marriages soon.
But same-sex couples won't be able to wed until an appeals court lifts its stay. Jenny Hamill joins us now live from the Breaking News Desk with more. Jenny?
Thanks, Mark and Sharon. Gay and lesbian couples who want to get married would have to wait for any lifting of the stay to be formally entered with the U.S. District Court. Then they'd have to call the San Diego County Clerk's Office for a marriage ceremony appointment. So let's rewind a little bit. On August 4th, U.S. Chief District Judge Vaughn Walker ruled that Prop 8, California's ban on same-sex marriage, does violate the due process and equal protection clauses of the U.S. Constitution. He stayed the effect of his ruling until lawyers on both sides could argue whether same-sex marriages should be allowed in California during the appeals process. Those attorneys filed their paperwork back on Friday, and Judge Walker could issue a decision any day now without holding a hearing. Those in support of same-sex marriage obviously say they are anticipating the next step.
Right now it's a little bit hectic, not knowing the answer. Kind of have butterflies in my stomach. It's crazy going back and forth to being legal and not legal.
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and Attorney General Jerry Brown both filed briefs on Friday urging Judge Walker to lift a stay so same-sex couples could begin to get married. A court spokeswoman, though, was not immediately available to say how long it might take from the lifting of a stay to the formal entering of judgment. Of course, all the latest developments we will bring straight to you. In the newsroom, Jenny Hamill, San Diego 6 News.
And good morning. Another cool wake up for us around the county, but temperatures slightly warmer than they were yesterday. Right now at Lindbergh Field, we've got 64 degrees, dew point at 57, pretty dry conditions. Winds are calm and a stable barometer. We'll go out to traffic. That's actually pretty stable right now as well. That's what we like to see. Traffic is moving along nicely on all of our major freeways. Here in the central part of the county, no real problems to report. We will shortly start to see that 15 southbound in the North County start to get congested, as well as the 805 northbound heading into the central part of the county. But overall right now, good posted speeds. I'll have an update for you on the 6s. Sharon?
So much, Brooke. Well, this morning, police are looking for two men that robbed a La Mesa Subway sandwich shop at gunpoint. It happened at University Avenue near Lowell Street. Police say the two men entered the shop at about 9:15 last night and demanded money from the clerk. The men took off west on University Avenue. No vehicle was seen. Now, one robber right now has been described as a black male in his 30s. He's about 5'10". He had facial hair and short, unkempt hair. Now, he was also wearing a dark-colored jacket, a white T-shirt, and dark-colored pants. Now, the other suspect is described as black, wearing a black beanie, a cap, a dark blue T-shirt, and dark pants. Now, if you know or saw anything, you are being asked to call La Mesa Police or Crime Stoppers. That number on your screen, 888-580-8477.
Police have now captured 2 of 3 inmates who escaped from an Arizona prison 11 days ago. The first escapee was caught last week in Colorado. The second arrest made yesterday. Authorities are still searching for John McCluskey and an alleged female accomplice. The pair, who authorities say are cousins and engaged, consider themselves a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde. Nicole Collins is in Washington with the latest.
2 down, 1 to go now that escaped convict Tracy Province is in custody. Province, one of 3 inmates to break out of an Arizona prison on July 30th, was caught Monday after he was recognized by a woman who said she talked with him on the steps of a Wyoming church.
They immediately arrested him without incident, and he immediately denied that he was Province, but later admitted that it was him and that he was relieved that this manhunt was over for him.
Now John McCluskey is the lone escapee on the loose, and police say he's not alone. According to authorities, he's with his fiancée and cousin, Caslin Welch, who is believed to have helped the convicts escape by throwing wire-cutting tools over a prison fence. Authorities say the two consider themselves Bonnie and Clyde.
They joke about it, and I think they've taken the persona that this is some type of a movie and this is some kind of a joke that they are living, but it is not.
Province and McCluskey are already suspected in the killings of a couple whose bodies were found Wednesday in New Mexico. Authorities say the manhunt will continue in full force.
We are going to be on McCluskey like a cheap suit. We are not going to pull this thing down.
Authorities believe McCluskey and Welch have moved on from Yellowstone but do remain in the general area. A $40,000 reward is being offered for any information leading to the arrest of the remaining escapee. In Washington, I'm Nicole Collins.
Immigration protests are planned this morning as controversial Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio will address a luncheon in Rancho Bernardo today. Arpaio, known as the toughest sheriff in America, will speak to the conservative order for good government. He will discuss his strategy for stopping illegal immigrants and how the new Arizona law, which was to have gone into effect last month, will impact law enforcement. Sheriff Arpaio has dramatically cut the cost of prisoner care by operating the largest prison tent city in the U.S. You may remember he also dyed prisoners' boxer shorts pink to reduce theft and cut the average cost of a prison meal to 15 cents. The Escondido Human Rights Committee and Border Angels will hold demonstrations this morning before Arpaio speaks.
And a boat rescue in Ocean Beach ends with a man being arrested. Lifeguards were called out to reports of a sailboat that ran into a reef just off Sunset Cliffs Boulevard around 5 last night. One man on board says the sailboat was brought to shore but would not cooperate with lifeguards who were trying to help him. Now, he was reportedly belligerent, had to be led up to the cliffs from the beach, and he was arrested on suspicion of being under the influence of alcohol. The boat was towed away.
All right, still ahead. Who flung the poo? Who flung the poo? Why a woman is accused of harassment with a diaper.
You said it, not me. And girls are hitting puberty at a younger age, some as early as 7. But doctors say there are risks. Those details coming up.
The Secretary of Defense announces a plan to save billions, but it will also cost thousands of jobs. We'll lay it out for you.
And wasted stimulus funds, why some senators are criticizing a study being done at SDSU.
And a warming trend in store. When will it get here and how long will it last? I'll have those details for you after the break.
I was forced by the government to be an assassin. And I've been on the run ever since.
As long as she's out there, she's a threat.
I'm not hiding anymore.
Nikita.
Thought I heard my name.
Nikita. Series premiere Thursday, September 9th on the CW. Last road trip, my allergies put me in a fog. Now, I'm Claritin cleared. Claritin works hard